Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth NFL podcast. I'm your host, Anish Gupta.
And I'm Srikar Agendran.
It's week 2. Week 1 is done in the books. Hopefully, you guys had a great NFL Sunday. I know I did, and I know Srikar did not. And
Nope.
I was talking so much throughout the entire Sunday because so much went right for me. And of course,
Except picks.
Yeah, except picks, which it's fine. It's okay. I'll take a good game from the guys I like and a Browns win over picks any day of the week. But speaking of picks, you know what rhymes with picks? Nicks. And you don't want to get nicks while you are shaving you know what down there. So this video is brought to you by Manscaped, like it will be for our future videos. Like we said before, Manscaped has released their Lawnmower 4.0. Again, the craftsmanship and the details on the 4.0 are absolutely next level. It features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. And with this advanced technology, again, you can avoid those nicks. Shout out Hakeem nicks, and also, avoid, any of those nicks while shaving your pig skins, and you don't have to worry about those deflations. Wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Manscaped has other amazing products like their Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, and super comfy clothing such as a t-shirt and some boxers. Manscaped is already the below-the-waist grooming partner of the San Francisco 49ers, who did lose to the Chicago Bears, by the way.
Yep.
And we are super excited to partner with them and bring their products to you guys. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. Use code CHT20 at manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping. 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Now go grab yourself that Lawnmower 4.0. All right, now that we have gotten our sponsor.
Guys, I gotta just say this. When Goop said what rhymes with picks, and knowing who sponsors us, I was thinking of something totally different. But it is all good. Let's just keep moving.
I was not going to say that.
Let's just keep moving.
100% PG podcast. So don't let dirty minds like Srikar over here fool you. I was totally not going for that. But let's get right into it, I guess. Obviously, again, we usually, Jack used to always ask us how our football weekend was. I think it's safe to say I had a good one. Srikar did not have a good one.
Yep.
But we'll kind of go right into it, right? Week 1 recap. There were some really surprising games. Obviously, as you could tell by our slate, I mean, there were a lot of upsets, right? I mean, usually in week 1, you tend to go with the team that kind of had a better offseason kind of coming in, right? And honestly, there were games that were really close too, right? Like, flip-flop between like Pittsburgh or Cincy, Atlanta Saints. A lot of those kind of really came down to the last minute. But we're going to give you guys our top 5 players of the week. I think that's a good place to kind of start. Players that we were really, really impressed with. I'll let Srikar kind of start off with his list, and then I'll kind of get to mine.
Yeah, I'll try to go through this as quick as I can. My number 5, Saquon Barkley. Fairly obvious going into this season that he'd be on a mission, and he definitely showed that against the Titans. 194 yards from scrimmage, over 9 yards a carry. He looked explosive, got himself into the end zone for a touchdown. More importantly, he led his team to a nice win on the road, down 13-0 in the third quarter. They had to claw up out of that situation, and Barkley was a big reason why they were able to pull that upset over the Titans. So he's my number 5. Number 4, Khalil Mack. He is the only defensive player in my top 5. 3 sacks, 4 QB hits, 3 TFLs. He came up very clutch for the Chargers. It was almost like a statement game for anyone who thought he was washed, especially when we're talking about in the pass rush department, but proved a lot of people wrong on Sunday. I think he was the best defensive player from Sunday, from week 1 in general, I should say, because we're including Bills-Rams. Number 3, Josh Allen. We've talked Bills-Rams already on the last episode. 353 total yards, 296 passing yards, 9.6 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns. He played a very, very good game against the Rams. He, made this offense seem unstoppable. Number 2, Justin Jefferson, just constantly wide open against the Green Bay secondary. The Packers had no answer for him. He did a lot of his damage in the first half, but still ended up 184 yards on 9 receptions, over 20 yards a catch. Very, very impressive day, and the best game of Justin Jefferson's career to this point. And my number 1
got to be Cade York, right? No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? That would have been a nice little twist. My number one, Talanoa, I'm playing, Patrick Mahomes, which PFF would wholeheartedly disagree with. Mahomes, he destroyed the Cardinals. 360 passing yards, 9.2 yards per attempt, 5 touchdowns. He was throwing passes to 9 different receivers. The Chiefs scored 44 points. He was nearly perfect. And he was able to shave off those doubts that he would be worse without Tyreek. For now, I mean, there's going to be points in the season where you're kind of feeling like, oh, if he had Tyreek, maybe that could have been something else. But I think for now, we can just conclude Mahomes is very, very, very good. So he is my number one. So my list: Mahomes, Jefferson, Allen, Mack, Barkley.
So I'm gonna take out Josh Allen from mine just because we already talked about it. So I'm gonna just do week 1 players on Sunday and Monday. And there's some honorable mentions. You can throw in guys like, honestly, you could throw in guys like Geno Smith. Khalil Mack was kind of an honorable mention for me. I'm also going to talk about someone that I think should get a little bit of this recognition. So at 5, I had Saquon as well. I think he was very instrumental in that win. Also, he had that one of those type of games where it was just like he really made an impact on how the game went. And, that's really hard to say he was able to, it's hard to say he's done that in the last 2 years. So for him to really do that, it's got to be a good feeling for Giants fans everywhere. Number 4, I'm going to go with Alex Highsmith.
I agree with that. That would have been my guy if I took out Allen.
So now a lot of people are going to say, he benefited from TJ Watt. Well, who doesn't benefit from TJ Watt, right? And I think actually, I've been saying this for a while. I think the reason why Pittsburgh has had so much dominance from the edge is because of Cam Hayward. I think Cam Hayward is almost as important to that defense as TJ Watt, if not more. And I think Alex Highsmith really benefited from that. I think he had 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, if I'm not mistaken. But
2 TFLs, 4 QB hits.
Yeah, so 4 QB hits, that's what I'm mistaken. And then he had 2 TFLs. So he had a really solid Sunday, really instrumental in that Pittsburgh upset. So he's my number 4. Number 3 is the quarterback from Washington, Carson Wentz. Yes, he is at number 3 on this list. Now, the reason why I put him, I have to include circumstance. He throws 2 interceptions on back-to-back plays, and the Commanders are down, I believe, 8. It was 14-22. Yeah. So they were down 8. And what does he do? 2 straight touchdown drives, and he was perfect on those 2 drives. When they needed him to be great, he was phenomenal. He had my favorite throw of the week, the one to Terry McLaurin, which had the 3rd lowest completion percentage probability according to Next Gen Stats, which is better than PFF, by the way. Wentz had a hell of a game, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns, and, shocked a lot of people, especially the guy below me on your screen.
I got to tell you, the thing with Carson Wentz, this is a Carson Wentz thing only. He'll make you think that he could be a Pro Bowler. He'll also make you think that he could just get benched on the same drive.
Those 2 picks were not his fault. I've rewatched it over and over again. It was hold on. It was a disguised cover 4. Wentz thought it was a cover 3. You attack the sidelines on cover 3. Tyson Campbell bit it. Good play on him. And then the screen pass. First of all, the offensive line is supposed to spread out. You're not supposed to bunch the side. And obviously all Trayvon Walker has to do is he's literally looking at Wentz while he's bull rushing. He just has to push off and get the pick. I thought that was it was a good play by Trayvon. I mean, rookies usually don't have that type of anticipation. But the screen just developed late. Obviously, you can fault him a little bit. I thought the throws could have been thrown a little bit earlier. But Wentz definitely in terms of circumstance and what people were kind of writing him off with. I'm putting him at number 3. Number 2 is Justin Jefferson. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what Srikar kind of alluded to. And then number 1, same thing. I got Patrick Mahomes. I'm also going to include the week 2 thing because sure. Man, he had a really, really good game against the Cardinals. There's some of those throws were just, again, I think it just proves that, first of all, I think the Tyreek Hill narrative is stupid. I don't think there even is a case. If you ever think to yourself, if he had Tyreek Hill, this would have happened. No, shut yourself, write down. That thought is completely useless. So I never want to hear anyone say that again. Wide receivers are not that important. And Mahomes kind of also makes receivers really good. So yeah, Mahomes was good. I think we've got similar top fives, except I got two guys there that I thought should have gotten some credit. Obviously, you agree with Highsmith. I don't know if you agree about Carson, but
no, I wholeheartedly disagree.
3, 13, and 4. Can't say that about Trey Lance. But moving on,
Yep,
we are going to do a quick week 2 recap. I guess Chargers Chiefs, just because it happened and we're recording this on Friday. Obviously Herbert, a lot of people, media wise, we can all talk about, oh my God, the toughness he had. And obviously I'm not really going to touch into that just because I think that's being talked about enough. What I will say is the Chargers, it comes down to, again, like the 4th down calls. It really, like, you played too conservative. Like, you need to find this balance. There were so many 4th and inches and 4th and 2s where and I hate it just because media attention tends for you to focus in on it more. But like, I'm sure Brandon Staley's thinking too, like everyone's talking about it, the cameras were always pointed to him every time there was a 4th down. You cannot think in your mind, okay, I would rather give the ball to Patrick Mahomes further back than further up. You're still giving the ball to Patrick Mahomes. If he was really that guy, and which he is, you don't want him to get the ball, period. So there were a lot of plays around the 50-yard line where it was 4th and short, 4th and 2. You have to take those chances. You're on the road, you're up. With 4th and inches, 4th and 2, there's almost a 60 to 70% chance each time that you get those plays. I live with the consequences if I don't get it, but I want to put the ball in the hands of my star quarterback. And if your defense, fine. If they're playing good, the problem with the Chiefs is one play can switch it. And when you're up 17 to 14 and they just scored a touchdown, you have to put the pedal to the metal. There were some plays where I just really thought the Chargers, the mindset was very iffy on me. And sure, you can talk about the turnover. I think really, yeah, the game kind of came down to that, but you got to also look at the 4th down calls.
I don't know how I feel about Staley. This dates back to even, just week 18 against the Raiders. I do not know how I feel about him as a head coach. I want to believe in him. Like, I like the guy.
He's good. I do.
I like the guy, but it's like sometimes it's just like he doesn't know what he's doing. But I'll talk about coaches that don't know what they're doing in a bit. I'll keep this short. I think this game, the difference was missed opportunities. Chargers dropped 2 picks. The Chiefs capitalized. They got their pick, took it 99 yards to the house. And shout out to Jalen Watson, by the way. He was actually really good in the Arizona game as well. Glad to see him get some national recognition there. But it's just, you gotta hope Herbert's okay. When he got hurt, and they decided to throw him back in, you could tell he was in serious pain. I was kind of saying just yank him, but I mean, that guy is tough as nails. Like, that guy is very, very tough.
Yeah, he is.
It was a very gritty touchdown drive, albeit one that maybe didn't need to happen. But I think overall, that's just the big takeaway for me. It's missed opportunities, especially with Asante Samuel. I mean, you got to catch those, and the Chiefs ultimately capitalized on that.
Yeah, Srikar's our media guy here, so he'll give you that Herbert grittiness. And I'm the scout, so I'll give you more of the analyst. See, that's how we go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I was gonna say one thing about Herbert's drive. The problem with it and the ribs, right? His torque, like he couldn't, like you could tell on some of the throws towards
when he wanted to run, and
yeah, there was just a lot. Like again, first of all, it was a lot of short, which made sense, right? So the Chargers pushed. It's called vertical push, right? You push the DBs back and you want one guy in open space. And that's what they did, right? Austin Eckler, I think, had like 3 or 4 catches or at least looks on that drive. And then I think they threw one to, I think, either Carter or Everett or Palmer, one of the two. It was someone with a single number. So they did a lot of that. And then on the 4th down, that throw was probably my favorite of the night. I mean, first of all, Herbert has tend to do a stiff drop back anyway, but to deliver that ball and not even fully follow through was just insane. Like that is pure arm strength right there, right? So, something I wanted to highlight right there. And obviously he had a late touchdown, which helped my fantasy team. But yeah, I think he'll be fine. X-rays, I think we haven't gotten the results back yet, but it did him immediately. I think worst case, maybe a cracked rib. I like that was my initial thought as soon as he kind of grabbed that area, just because it's not low enough to be like the hip or anything, but it's not high enough to be anything chest related. So I thought it's got to be ribs, right? So I think he'll be okay. I mean, obviously 2 straight hits from a hard helmet to the bone because there's not as much padding on the middle side. That's probably why it.
I don't even think it was the hit. I think it was when he fell back down, he landed on the helmet.
That's what I'm saying. So the
Yeah.
collision of the helmet was and the rib was like the doing of him, right? Because remember,
Yeah.
I forget who hit him, but was it Willie Gay?
I think it was
I don't
Willie
know.
Gay.
So helmet was crouched, right? And then when you land, kind of the top, the crown of the helmet, and the ribs kind of hit. So I think he'll be fine. They've got 10 days. That's ample enough time. He'll probably be limited in practice. That's what I anticipate. Also, their next two matchups, I think, are the Jags, the Texans, I think, and the Browns. So, those are three very winnable games. Chiefs look good as normal, as you mentioned, capitalize on opportunities. 2-0. And Mahomes is now 22-3 versus divisional opponents. That is insane. Like that is better than Tom Brady. So, if anyone's got a chance at him, it's number 15 over there in Kansas City. We'll kind of move on to another topic. A team that really just had no upside, no positive points throughout week 1 was the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, there was very, very hard to take something positive away from that game, aside from Micah Parsons, but that's like normal stuff. We expect that from him, right? There was no one that really stood out, to me, watching Dallas. I mean, I guess Trayvon had a good game, but I've always thought he was overhated. So I'll let you kind of get into it. What's next for them? Where do they go from here? How does it kind of look? Maybe touch on Dak's injury.
Yeah, without Prescott, it's Cooper Rush, at least is how the depth chart stands. And with respect to Cooper, the season is over if he plays extended time. So all of this leads to the obvious question, I was going to talk about it. Would the Cowboys trade for Jimmy Garoppolo? And if so, will the Niners actually trade him there? Now, this does come with the caveat that Jerry Jones has said they're rolling with Cooper Rush. But if we see a game from Rush and it's as bad as we think, maybe they reconsider their options. Jimmy is now on an affordable cap hit, $13.9 million. He also has a no trade clause. I think Dallas could afford to get him, both in terms of draft capital and financially, and Jimmy would have the incentive to start on a competitive team and, therefore waive his leverage. The ultimate question is whether San Francisco would move Jimmy after losing to the Bears in that game at Soldier Field. If the Niners believe in Trey Lance, it's a great opportunity to get another draft pick. And if not, Jimmy's probably too valuable to move in a season where, you have Super Bowl aspirations. If the Cowboys can't get Jimmy, I think it's all but over. If they do bring him in, maybe they can compete in the NFC East, a division that otherwise won all their games in week 1. I guess what ends up happening with Dallas and potentially Jimmy could just impact the entire conference. But as of right now, nothing doing, according to Jerry Jones. But let's see if that changes after Bengals week.
I've got no confidence in anything like that happening. Like, there's no way. First of all, Cooper Rush, in the game he played against Minnesota last year, he looked really good. He had over 300 passing yards. He was the only Dallas quarterback to win a game where the team did not have 100 rushing yards. Dak was 0-5 that year. I'm going to shut that down. I think Jimmy, as you said, is too valuable of an asset. I will say this, though. I think Cooper Rush is not giving as much credit as people are giving him for, just because, again, he has a win under his belt. Like a lot of the guys that the Cowboys threw out before when Dak got hurt, Garrett Gilbert versus a 10-0 Pittsburgh. Like, what do you expect to happen, right? Like these are things, like, this is at least a better situation. It's at home. The Bengals, keep in mind, the Bengals were taking 7 sacks, right? With silent count, with the controlled snap count. They were at home. So they're going on the road, and they're going to have to use silent count with that offensive line and that performance against Pittsburgh. The Dallas defense is really good. Like, they played well against Tom Brady, right? They only allowed 1 touchdown. I was impressed. I thought Dallas's defense did pretty well. Now, I just want to, first of all, take my little high road here real quick and say, Shriek, with that performance, do you think Dallas would have still won the division, even based on how they looked? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so just had to throw that out there, that all you Cowboy people who got on me for saying that they would not,
to be fair,
win the division I would not have a winning record. I'm talking my stuff today. I was right. They did not look good. Their offense, Dak Prescott, is not that guy. And can we talk about how he was like 40% completion percentage?
Okay, here's my first of all, yes, Dak had a big game. But first of all, if you go in my record predictions that I put in the CHT chat, okay, I had the Cowboys and Eagles with the exact same record. Dallas literally wins it off a tiebreaker.
I said the Commanders clear, and I think they still do. But the 4 games that they play, at Giants, Commanders, and the Rams, that would be and Bengals, sorry. Those would be the 4 that I think Dak would be out for. First of all, I think fantasy purposes, don't be scared of dropping CD. I think they're gonna still have to throw hella, and I think he's gonna get hella targets. But yeah, this is kind of concerning. I think 4 games obviously is not the end of the world, and if Dak comes back with a vengeance, hey, you never know. But it's not looking too good for Dallas right now, and I think it's going to be tough. I think they'll play better than what people are giving credit for, especially with Cooper Rush. But yeah, really hard to find positives on that loss, especially the offense. They were awful. I mean, Kellen Moore, what are you doing? Also, CD played terrible. I mean, there were just drops that he had. Couldn't get separation. No one could. I mean, maybe Noah Brown, but yeah, I mean, I was very worried, and rightfully so, which I was trying to tell people from the beginning of the year, but it's okay. So we'll kind of move on. Obviously, everyone's going to talk about the big game, Seahawks Broncos. Nathaniel Hackett, what was going on there? Look, I'm very happy for Seattle just because one, they won the game and the Niners didn't, so they're up. Look, I love Debo, but now with Trey Lance at the helm, I'm going to be rooting against them. I'm not praying on the downfall. Hater. Okay, I'm not praying on the downfall.
You are praying on their downfall.
I just want Niner fans to be like, man, why did we move on from Jimmy G? And I already saw some videos on it, and I just put a little smirk on my face. But yeah, so
it's too early for all that.
Let's talk about the last drive, right? So I think it was over 3 minutes, I believe, on the clock. You're down 1, right? And you see Peyton on the Manning cast going maybe like over 40 times. And I'm doing that too. I'm like, what are you doing here? And it comes down to 4th and 5. And everyone's going to talk about how they didn't put the ball in Russell Wilson's hands. And I'll maybe save that for Srikar, right? Like, why did McManus kick it? I'm just going to talk about the clock management, right? If you're down 1, and I think you started 20, I think it was a standard start, right? 25-yard line. So you only have to go. McManus has got a decent leg. Obviously, he's been iffy on 50-yard kicks. So you probably have to get around 50 yards, right, in 3 minutes. That is so doable. But you also want to have that safety blanket to where it's like, okay, we have our timeouts for when you don't get it, right? So instead, go tempo, right, and save yourself about a minute. So even if you do get to the 50 and it comes down to 4th down, right, that's when you can feel comfortable about going for it. So I think in Nathaniel Hackett's mind, he's thinking, there's just not enough time to go for it. And then if we don't get it, get the ball back. I think that's what he's thinking, right? So, because obviously there's no other way to explain what he did there. Like,
they had 3 timeouts.
Yeah, so try and find me an explanation, but that is the only thing I can think of. The only reason why he did not go for it is because he thought there was not enough time to get the ball back. That is the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, you've got to manage the clock better to start there. And I think the game also came down to just the goal line stuff, right? Like what 2 fumbles on inside the 5-yard line. Denver just played sloppy. Like, call it what it is. And there were open passes that Geno was making that I just thought, what are you doing? The Seahawks had great pass protection all game. Abe Lucas and Charles Cross, tremendous. Charles Cross gave in a little bit at the end of Bradley Chubb, but amazing game. Travis Homer played so great in pass protection. Seattle, hats off to you. I'll let you take it over with Denver, but
yeah. I don't do the whole week 1 overreaction thing, but I have seen enough of Nathaniel Hackett to feel like he's not going to be a good head coach.
Wow, that's a little too far. I don't know.
No, I'll explain. It's one thing to have a bad game plan. It's one thing to make a mistake, use a timeout to it, like that happens. That's coaching, right? But this was this was Bush League stuff, like even worse. Like, that was the dumbest thing I have ever seen a coach do in recent memory. Maybe since not giving it to Marshawn at the 1. Maybe, if I had to actually think. So when it was 4th and 5, I was thinking, I wonder what play they're going to run. Maybe a throw, go something short like a drag route 5 yards out. And Hackett is just running all the clock off. And I still wasn't even thinking about them kicking it. Like, it was still way too far out. And then I see McManus start to come out, and I'm like, what are they doing? Like, I thought it was like a communication issue or something. Like, the 12th man was very loud. Like, maybe it was something with the crowd, and there was some sort of communication issue there.
They played a hell of a part in it, man. That was good.
Yeah, they trot McManus out there. and he misses wide left.
No, it was okay. No.
But
It was
Seattle,
close.
But Seattle calls it. I'm not talking about that kick. I'm talking about the one before the timeout.
Right. Okay.
So he misses like all the way to left. Seattle calls a timeout, and at that point, I'm thinking, if you're Denver, you got 3 timeouts. I mean, this is a no-brainer. You get McManus off the field. You go for it. The kick in the first place was insane. Baggett says, nope, we're going to kick it again. And Anish alluded to this. To McManus's credit, it was a really good effort. Like, it was a good kick. But I do not understand that at all. That is one of the dumbest decisions. If you can't pick up 5 yards with your $242 million quarterback that you just traded your whole future for, what are you doing? Why is he even on the team?
Yeah, no. The problem is too, like, context, right? They moved the ball, like I said, right?
They were doing
fumbles at the goal line. So they were moving the ball pretty much every drive in the second half. That was their second half. Denver literally should have had 21 points in that half.
And they made good defensive adjustments.
And Seattle, Seattle was like, okay, the first half was tremendous. They let it all out there. That's what I want to see from this team. I told you, that is the reason why I thought they would overachieve. They had schematically, they've looked really good. But in the second half, their play calling was awful. I mean, they played not to lose. They were essentially asking Denver, come back, please come back in this game. And look, Seattle escaped with it, right? Honestly. I mean, they did not really, towards that half, you really should not be like praising them. This was way more on bad Denver than good Seattle.
Yeah.
Second half wise, first half, other way around. But yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson, who had 340 yards in that game, had a really good game, honestly, like from a passing perspective. That is not like, that is a game that really in recent memory, in terms of overall stats, how they were driving, I really cannot find a way like you lost that game. I mean, like really, that is crazy to me. I mean,
and to be fair, like Wilson to me, like he was solid, but he got away with some throws that could have been picked. Like,
absolutely. But let's talk about this. Yeah, the one to Quandre in the end zone. But let's talk about this. Why didn't Russell call timeout? You are the guy in Denver. You are the guy in Denver. You are paid that type of money. If Peyton was on the field in Denver, he is calling that timeout.
Yep.
You are literally way more experienced than your own head coach, right? You are a solidified star in this league. You call timeout. You control that offense there. This is your team. That is how it should be.
He deferred to Hackett, which was
that is something that I will let the media run away with. Why didn't you call timeout? That is something I'm really confused about, and that's something that should be questioned going forward, right? Is Wilson going to have, hate to say it, but hey, balls of steel to do it, right? Shout out Manscaped. Is he going to do it? Like, that's a real question that I think Denver should be looking at, because this is the easy part of their schedule. They have a really easy schedule going into week 10. This is a game you should have won, right? And now long-term playoff hopes, the Chiefs look really good. The Chargers also look really good. I think the Raiders will bounce back. I mean, Denver is really, they're scaring me a little
concerning,
bit. Right? Yep. Yeah, I mean, this was sloppy play, and it's a short week too. So let's hope they get on their high horse and fix it. Yeah, really, because this is kind of concerning to me. All right, we promised you guys every week a fantasy segment, so we're gonna do start sits for week 2. I'll start off really quick. My start of the week is still CeeDee Lamb. I know a lot of people are gonna be wary of it. 2 catches on 11 targets for 29 yards, and everyone's gonna think. I actually said this before the game when we picked it, right? Is he gonna fall in that Juju Smith-Schuster trap where it's like Amari's gone, AB was gone? Is he gonna be that number 1? I'm hoping. I think he'll bounce back. And the reason why everyone's going to be wary about the quarterback thing, they're going to be down. They're going to have to throw. Like, they have to throw to somebody, right? So, and obviously CD, I think, is the best player on that offense, on the outsides, right? So let's hope he can do something. I think I'm still going to start him. I don't think any corner on Cincy can really compete with him. Again, everyone's going to bring up the Eli Apple graphic about how he only allowed like 2 catches for 8 yards. No, not a consistent corner. And also Pittsburgh just cannot throw the ball down the field. I'm going with CD.
Yep. CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz. It's going to be those 2 primarily the entire game. Yep. Safety blankets for Cooper Rush. Makes sense. Knowing I'm a Niners fan, it's kind of easy to predict this one coming. I'm starting Jeff Wilson. He will be running back 1 this week for the Niners. Elijah Mitchell's out for a lengthy amount of time. And usually when Wilson's thrust into that role, he thrives. And the Niners are definitely going to be running the ball a lot, especially with the forecast calling for rain again. So
I saw it and I was like, dude, the forecast for the week here is like, it's the only day.
It's the one day Everything else was perfectly fine. So I think
this is good.
it's a relatively safe play. And
Here come the excuses pouring in. Excuse my pun, but yeah.
It's at least we were in a monsoon last game to prepare us for this rain. You know, that's the silver lining of it all.
I find it so funny, bro. You should have picked them. The Bears. I should have picked them.
You should have picked them, not me.
Dude, no, if you would okay, I know this sounds stupid. I was like, okay, until you started giving the argument for the Niners, I was like, I might just go with it. And then you gave it, and I was like, ah, shit. It was like, all right, whatever. Yeah, so Jeff Wilson's your start.
Yeah.
All right, quick sit for mine. I really regret, like, I'm really sad about this one, but I do think it is kind of a sit. Travis Etienne versus, I believe, Indy.
Damn.
I love Travis Etienne too. Like, he is my guy, but I'm too scared of the backfield. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know what I'm getting, right? James Robinson had a lot of touches, and he made do with a lot of those touches. And Etienne on 4th down had a drop, had the ball knocked out of him right when he caught it. I mean, you know, maybe he's a little bit rusty from the Lisfranc injury, but he's my sit.
Yeah, I think it is a bit of rust. Don't know how long it's going to take him to catch up, but I think it's a fair sit. I'm sitting Dawson Knox. He definitely disappointed fantasy owners last week, and I don't really see a situation where it gets a whole lot better. He's in a target comp right now. Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis are getting, you know, the lion's share of targets, and even then we saw Isaiah McKenzie do some work. He's just got a pretty big climb up. So I'd sit Dawson at least for this week, and we'll see if things get any better. But until then, it's a very risky play to be starting in.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, also forgot Jamison Crowder. I mean, there's
James
just 5
Crowder,
guys,
yep.
right? Like that can get the ball. So you're right, and they only run spread a certain amount. So I agree with you there. Guys, maybe you can look on the fence with, right? I think Darrell Henderson will have a good game against Atlanta. I'm just scared because it's like, who are they going to throw out there, right? That's why I didn't really make him my sit. I was all in on CEH against LA. He had a good game, right? He had over 100 yards from scrimmage.
Yeah.
So, so I guess that one was proven right. But yeah, those are our fantasy players, and now we move on to our favorite segment of the week, weekly picks. Shriek, I'll let you kind of get us started because I don't have the records.
Okay,
but I do know I'm last.
Yeah, so Jack and fans are tied for first right now. Both went 10-5. I went 8-7. So Anish is in last at 7-8.
Let's not talk about how I did, but
I mean, you're not that far behind. It's fine.
Yeah, we got it.
But let's kick this off. We'll start with your favorite team, the Jets and the Browns, Jacoby Brissett and Joe Flacco. I will let you start on this one.
All right. Look, the Jets kind of hung in there against Baltimore for like the first half, and then they kind of gave in. Big shout out to DJ Reed for the pick. I did not know his father passed away, so big shout out to him. Hopefully he's doing better. This is going to be at Cleveland. Fans are going to be roaring. I already know they're tailgating the night before. I mean, hey, win, lose, or draw, Browns fans are Browns fans. We are loyal. We are loyal to the dog pound, baby. And I'm going to go with the Browns at home here. I think, me personally, I want revenge for the Jets for what they did when we had all our starters out in 2020. I know that's so long ago, but it's funny because I had a bet with Jack, so it was a very long time ago. But yeah, I had a bet with Jack that I, very, very wrongfully did not win my money on. So I want revenge. So I will be rooting hard for them, and I hope they get a win here. Again, I could recap the game all I want with the Panthers-Browns, but Jacoby looked okay on the final drive. Myles Garrett was terrific, back-to-back snaps, 2 sacks and a forced fumble. Denzel Ward looked good as usual. Not really much surprises there from Cleveland. It's just Jacoby, man. Got to throw outside the numbers. DPJ had himself a game. Jets-wise, too. Corey Davis, I think, is also a guy you might want to look at maybe starting on fantasy for a deeper league. But, yeah, going with the Browns here.
Don't watch this game. Like, just don't.
The hell? Why not?
It's not. I mean, if you do want to watch this game, just expect a very, very defensive game, lots of running, and that usually favors the team with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So I'm going to be taking Cleveland as well.
I'm tuned in all day. I'm watching.
You're a Browns fan. I'm talking to the casual NFL fan out there. You don't want to watch this game. I don't care if it's in market. Get Sunday ticket. Watch something else. Or just turn on Scott Hansen. You'll be good. But next game on the slate, the Commanders against the Lions. If Washington wins, maybe the Commanders are more of a threat in the NFC.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Maybe they're more of a threat.
The guy who was saying this all offseason gets no credit, but all right. Okay.
Maybe they're more of a threat than I thought. However, The Lions are playing to keep hope alive after a tough week 1 loss. I'm going to take Detroit here. I kind of know what direction Goop is going here, and I think it's going to mean that we have some difference.
Hey, Wentz versus Goff, 2 different jerseys. 2 jerseys you would have never expected back in 2016 or in 2019 for that matter, right? Mm-hmm. Goff coming off a Super Bowl and a Pro Bowl year. Wentz coming off a Pro Bowl season. So you would have never expected this, but I'm going with the Commanders. I'm going with the Commanders. I loved how they played. And that guy, Carson Wentz, man, it feels so good to say that, man. Look, let's hope. Again, you never know with him, right? You never know. But
yeah, exactly.
Defense looked really good. Derek Forrest, a guy who is not getting enough attention. PFF, I don't know, finally got a good ranking on him. But yeah, not getting enough attention. Jeff Okudah, too. Here's the problem, right? He played really well, but he's played really well in the preseason and week 1. People are not giving him credit. He only allowed 2 catches for 18 yards in week 1. So I don't think you knew that, and I don't think the casual NFL knew that, but he will only be able to be put on 1 receiver, right? So, and the Commanders have had a plethora of targets. I've been very impressed with who is that guy that I was saying is going to be the best rookie receiver, Jahan Dotson. And I wish I had picked him for rookie of the year, but I did not. I gave in to the marketed team. But Jahan, Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas, Carson Wentz at the helm. Let's do it, baby. Commanders.
All right, next up, Bucs Saints. Excellent divisional clash. Goop, I'm going to let you start on this one. The Bucs.
Why do you always get... No, I'm letting you start on this one. This one's a hard one. You give me all the hard ones.
Okay. Bucs are trying to win their first regular season game over the Saints in the Tom Brady era. The big issue for Tampa Bay, obviously injuries all over the place. But still, Brady is significantly better than Jameis Winston, and that is the edge for me. I'm going to take the Bucs. It is a pretty difficult game considering Saints are 4-0 against Brady, not including playoffs. But yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Bucs.
So, as you mentioned, 4-0.
Yeah. Yep.
And Saints looked iffy to start the game. They came through in the end, as everyone does against Atlanta. Yeah. But I think it's going to come down to pressure, right? Trenches. Like Donovan Smith has a hyperextended elbow. That's a lot of pain to be playing through, especially when you go hand.
He's doubtful.
I think, he's probably not going to play. I mean, that's just that I wouldn't either with that. Yeah. And Saints pass rush kind of got home towards the end. This is a game that is really close for me. I'm going to take the Saints for right now. I think I'm going to take the Saints. I think if Donovan Smith is out, I'll probably be a little bit more convicted, but I do need to check, everything else. I think Marshawn Lattimore has a heck of a game against Mike Evans again. Julio, though, watch out for him. I think he might have himself a game. I'm going to take the Saints for now, though.
Okay, and Godwin has been ruled out, by the way, so he's not going to be able to go. But next up, the Panthers and the Giants. You kind of played yourself because you skipped on going first on Saints Bucks, and you got.
Oh no, I'll go first on this one.
Go right ahead.
I'm going with Carolina. I'm going with Carolina on this one. Baker Mayfield had 155 yards in the fourth quarter. Why is no one talking about that?
Yeah, and then what happened the first 45 minutes?
That is insane. I'm sorry, but that is insane.
And the first 45 minutes was terrible. That's why no one's talking about it.
Hold on. Let's unpack this. 5th system in 5 years. Right?
There we go.
Okay. 5th system in 5 years. Right. They gave CMC how many touches? Actually, my new nickname for him now, guys. C. How many touches they give C in the first half? 3. 3 touches. 3 touches. What are you doing? Once they gave him the ball, 3 straight scoring drives. Baker was impeccable on all 3 scoring drives. When they needed him to be him, he did it. And if it wasn't for roughing the passer and a questionable intentional grounding, right? Panthers probably would have won that game. Let's be real. I mean, there was a roughing the passer in the beginning. In the second half, that would have been a safety, but eradicate that, right? Whatever happened. In the drives that they asked Baker Mayfield what he needed to do, down 10 or 13 in the fourth quarter, he was perfect. I'm going with the Panthers. I think they bounce back.
Love the fight we saw from the Giants in Nashville. Got that last second win. Carolina is more talented.
Field goal.
Carolina's more talented. But New York looks unified under Brian Daboll. I'm taking the Giants. We are going to keep this difference going.
Have we differed on every game
except Cleveland?
Wow.
Every single game.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right, next up.
I knew you were gonna
Pats
take that.
Steelers. Oh God, there's going to be absolutely no offense in this game. I'll start it off. The main, thing with this game, it's play defense, win situational battles, get a few turnovers, capitalize when you do get those turnovers. For the Patriots to win, they're going to need Mac Jones to be much better than Mitchell Trubisky, which is absolutely in play, even with the back stuff. And Bill Belichick versus Mike Tomlin. That is a hell of a coaching battle. I'm gonna roll with the Pats. I'm not really confident because the line is New England by 1.5, which I think the Steelers should be favored. To be honest,
Is it at?
It's at Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So I don't understand the line, but
well, I mean, I think that line's probably has to do with TJ's injury. I mean,
but
this one's really tough as well.
I'm gonna go.
The Pats looked really bad, as I thought, as you thought, and as I thought. The Pats looked really bad. I think for me it was more of Miami looking good, and for you it was more Pats looking bad. Right?
Yep.
So, yeah. I'm torn just because also Max got that little injury. I think Pittsburgh had a lot of things that just came down to like offense, and I think that those are things that you can fix. A lot of these like plays that they didn't hit on, I think you can fix. Are we gonna differ again? I'm going with Pittsburgh here.
Okay, there we go.
Pittsburgh, yeah. Oh my. All right. Yeah, I'm going with Pittsburgh here.
This is the exact opposite of Week 1.
Wow.
Next game on the slate, the Colts and the Jags. This is probably one we're not going to differ on. I mean, the Colts have to win this game. They can't come out of games against the Texans and Jaguars without a dub. And meanwhile, if Jacksonville goes 0-2, it feels like more of the same for the Jaguars. I'm going to take the Colts here. I do think Jacksonville's going to keep it close, as they always do against the Colts, but rolling with Indy. You're taking the Jags.
I'm torn.
Okay.
Because they looked good for the first 3 quarters. And then Carson Wentz happened. But they looked good.
Problem with Jacksonville is they just couldn't score in the red zone.
When is the last time Indy's beaten Jax at Jax?
Exactly.
2014.
Yeah.
NFL, man, it's such a narrative-driven league. I'm gonna call it the narrative football league. For now, I'm going with the Jags. I don't know, something about it. I've loved them. I don't know. It just seems like a thing. It just seems to me, right? Like everyone's gonna panic on Indy, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, they lost in Jacksonville again." But yeah, I'm gonna go with Indy. I think Shaq might not play either, right? So if Shaq,
Leonard.
Yeah, so if Shaq doesn't play again, I'm going with Jags for now.
All right, and I think this is the last game of the morning slate. The Ravens and the Dolphins, they both look good in Week 1. I'm going to let you go first here.
Well, wait, sorry, what was the matchup again?
Ravens-Dolphins.
Oh, Ravens-Dolphins.
In Baltimore.
Man, why are these matchups tough? I'm going, because I love Miami. I'm going with Baltimore, though. I think they're just more of a focused team. I think. Wait, let me explain though why I'm going Baltimore. They looked good against the Jets. I think they have the defense to really kind of counteract Miami. They've got Kyle Fuller is out, so that does kind of concern me a little bit just because he played a little bit slot. But if J.K. Dobbins plays, I'm going with Baltimore. That I'm going to keep a contingent just because I think J.K. is going to help that run game a lot because they struggled against New York. They did. I think J.K. is going to help that run game a lot. So if he plays, I'm going with Baltimore.
Yeah, both teams look good in Week 1. Baltimore, they're the more complete team at home. Tua's going to need to have a great game to crack this defense.
He's going to need to have he just needs to do the same thing he did against the Pats. Like, he just needs to get the ball to his receivers in open space. The real question is, will Tyreek and Jalen get separation against Marlon and Marcus? That's what it comes down to.
I think Tua is going to be under immense pressure. But I think he steps up.
You got the Dolphins?
Yeah, I think the Dolphins are going to be 2-0.
Oh my God, dude, that's like 7 differences.
Okay. I was going to go Baltimore, but I'm looking at the weekly picks right now, and just for the sake of it's Week 2. Like, it's still very early. It would be fun just to have all these games kind of differ, except for Jets-Browns. We don't pick the Jets over here. But
I wish Jack was here so we could pick him, but he's not a Jets fan anymore. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go back on the Bucks, but we'll see. But yeah, okay, I'm going with Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's hit the late window then.
The late window, I'm not expecting much difference. Let's just start with Falcons-Rams. if the Rams struggle here, I mean, it's a huge red flag. Atlanta played New Orleans tough, but I mean, they're not going to be a match for an LA team on a long break. I'm taking the Rams, and this probably might be the lock of the week.
Sean McVay does not lose like this. He does not lose back-to-back. He does not lose to inferior teams. It is Sean McVay. It is Sean McVay. It is Sean McVay. Best coach in the league. I still think so, and I'm going with the Rams.
No, but all right. This is the game that is very intriguing to me. It is the Seahawks at the 49ers in the rain. Can Geno Smith outplay Mr. Trey Lance? It feels like Seattle, they had some magic on Monday night, but I mean, the Seahawks are going to be confident coming to the Bay. I think it's going to be a tough game. I already know where this is going. I think Goop is going to take the Seahawks, so I'm going to take San Francisco. I'm going to stay confident in the Niners. I think they'll bounce back here. But yeah, I'm ready. Just pick Seattle.
First, let's recap a little bit, right?
Yeah, let's recap.
Week one. Aside from Hufanga out of USC, Niners did not look good. And their quarterback, who I was told is really talented, can be Patrick Mahomes, his accuracy is nothing to worry about. It was overrated, or it was overhated on.
Okay, no one said that.
And no, you'd be surprised how many Niner fans I've seen on different
accuracy was literally the one problem that's holding everything back that I said was probably
and everyone thought his pocket progression was good, his pocket presence was good.
It was not.
I saw none of that. I saw a guy who couldn't hit anything past his primary read. I saw a guy who couldn't take the middle of the field away from the defense, and I saw a guy who, as I predicted, was not going to be the answer in SF. That being said,
you cannot say that off one game.
That being said, I think SF wins this game. It's going to be really hard for them, it's going to be really hard for them to lose this. If they do, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to laugh a lot. But yeah, Seattle played too conservative. I didn't like their play calling at the end, and I think SF match as well. So
it's not as hard as you'd think to lose this. I'll just say that. I think it's actually a pretty.
I hope they do. I hope Trey Lance struggles again, and I hope Geno Smith outplays him, because one guy you got for nothing and another guy you spent 3 picks on.
All right, and next up, the Bengals and the Cowboys. I'll keep it short. Cooper Rush is not beating Joe Burrow, and if he does, Cincinnati has major problems. I'm taking the Bengals.
Yeah, if Cooper Rush wins, I will again get on my high horse and parade myself for saying that the Bengals will shock everybody and not make the playoffs. But I think they will bounce back this week, which is ironic because I thought they would beat Pittsburgh coming into the year and lose to Dallas with Dak, but now it's flip-flopped. So got Cincy in this one.
And another easy one. Let's ride the Broncos and the Texans. The Broncos were underwhelming. We kind of covered it. Now you get a home opener against another lackluster team. I think Denver's going to bounce back. I'm taking the Broncos.
It's so funny because it's like, if you this just seems like a game that could be so fun to pick an upset for, but young quarterbacks tend to struggle in the mile-high altitude, and obviously it's going to be Denver's home opener, and they're going to be loud, they're going to be angry, and they're going to be roaring. I'm going with Denver here.
Yep. Cardinals, Raiders in Vegas. I'll let you start on this one.
Look, Arizona did not look good, man. And kind of expected that too. I think this was a team that was just too noisy. Mm-hmm. They're going to go into Allegiant Stadium. Is that how you say it? I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. I think the Raiders played a pretty good game. Offensive line was just really shaky, and that's to be expected when your best player is Colton Miller, who's, maybe a top 13 left tackle at best. I don't think the Cardinals have home run hitters the way the Chargers do, and I think the Raiders receivers, especially Devontae Adams, is going to have a field day in that secondary. I mean, Byron Murphy and Budda Baker are only 2 guys, right? It's hard to really stop the Raiders' high-powered offense. I'm going to go with the Raiders to bounce back here.
Yeah, the offenses should both score a lot, but the Raiders are a better team at home with Derek Carr attempting to bounce back after 3 interceptions against the Chargers. I think he's going to be a little angry. I'm taking Las Vegas.
Quick thing, though.
Yeah.
Let's not blame Kyler for that loss. I think a lot of it, he still played a good game. A lot of it was just flat out the defense got outplayed, and the offensive line is awful. Like, it is god awful. Please, Arizona, fix it. I mean, you go into the offseason and you don't really address it, and you are surprised that it's not good. Well, no, duh. I mean, yeah, let's fix it, please. Hate to see Kyler going like that, but yeah, does not.
Moving into Sunday Night Football, this should be where the Packers, kind of show their mettle against the Bears. You handle them, you run away with the victory at home, and if that doesn't happen, Green Bay has serious issues. With that said, I'm going to take the Packers.
I mean, yeah, a lot of these matchups feel like, let's stop the overreactions. Let's calm everybody down. It's only week 1. And that's kind of what I'm kind of looking at here. I do think the Vikings are just a better team than the Packers, which is why I have them all the way in the Super Bowl as of right now, right? So I think Packers bounce back and win this game against Chicago. Hey, I like to go bold. Srikar's probably going chalk with some Bucks or.
Well, I had Bills NFC. Packers in my predictions.
Really?
I moved Packers? Off Bucks. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to hope for some big wins starting Sunday. Let's see. I'm going to go with Green Bay. I also want to see how they win. I like the rushing attack. They kind of look good. Aaron Jones was a little bit shaky, but A.J. Dillon made the most of his carries. But the receivers, man, let's get some separation. Let's make some plays. That's really what it comes down to.
We got a doubleheader on Monday Night Football, which is always great. The first game, the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans. It is going to be in Buffalo, in Orchard Park. To be honest, tough to see a path for the Titans here. Tennessee cannot match up with Buffalo on either side of the ball. I think Josh Allen could have another monster day in prime time. I'm taking the Bills, and the schedule makers definitely let the Bills off the hook here. You get a Thursday night game and then straight into a Monday night game, so that's great.
I'm going to take the Bills here as well. They're just a very good team. This is a game that Tennessee could play spoiler in like they did last year, but it's at Buffalo this time, not in Tennessee. So I'm going to give the Bills the benefit of the doubt. It is their home opener. They're going to be loud. They're going to be roaring. I believe they're really close to where Srikar is at right now, so he's probably surrounded by a lot of Bills fans.
Oh, yeah.
Go with the Bills as well.
And a terrific game to end the week. It is the Minnesota Vikings at the Philadelphia Eagles. I feel like we're going to differ here. Whoever wins, I mean, they are going to be seen as a legit contender in the NFC. Okay, both teams are very evenly matched, so normally I would take the home squad, but I don't know. I have a feeling with Minnesota, Kirk Cousins plays really well against the Eagles, but he's also very bad on Monday Night Football, so it's like, which Kirk are you going to get? And I'm going to say we get good Kirk here. If Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen can get loose, I mean, Minnesota's very, very dangerous. So I have a feeling I'm going with the Vikings here. It's very, very much against my gut, but I'm going to roll with Minnesota.
Damn, man. I'm taking Minnesota. You know how high I am on them. And the Eagles kind of were a bit concerning towards the end of the game against Detroit. I mean, they were, a little bit, right? You got to get a little bit worrisome there. But again, two coaches that I absolutely love, Nick Sirianni and Kevin O'Connell. Schematically, they're two of my favorite young head coaches in the league, if not my two favorite. I think Minnesota's defense played a hell of a game, and I think they're going to cause Jalen Hurts some trouble. And Jalen Hurts, while he's very good at running out of the pocket, he's not that good throwing outside the pocket, and I think that's something he struggles with a little bit. The secondary for the Vikings is going to be a little bit shaky, which is why I think A.J. Brown's going to have himself a day. But the Vikings, just player for player on offense, I think they have the best offense in football, and it's really hard for me. I think the Eagles do kind of match up well, especially with Slay and Bradbury. But Amon-Ra still had a good game, and you've got Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen on the other side. So tough. I'm gonna go with the Vikings here, but you're right. This one's really close. Mm-hmm. Really close.
Yep, and that caps it. That's all our games. We had a lot of difference in the early slate, and then in the late slate, I don't think we differed at all.
I think we kept it the same. Did we not?
Yeah.
I wish Seattle would pull the upset, but I don't got the guts, man. I can't, man, because if I pick it wrong, and San Francisco wins, I'm gonna eat it. So you can't do it, man.
Yep.
Well, that has been our recap for week 1. Headed into week 2, I'm so excited for some football. I got all my assignments done. So Sunday, I'm glued to my couch. And let's get ready for some NFL Sunday. But thank you guys so much for watching. We've been the Cold Hard Truth NFL podcast, and we will see you guys next time.